Okay, so day 2, and I kind of wanted to just do a little explanation here before we get started. So backgrounds, day 2, I pulled color cards, and alright, so here's what I did last night. So you know it's spring break, and I'm working on redoing my art studio, and then yesterday these were, our color was green. These were the collaged ones. These are the finished ones. Yeah, they're curling up a little bit. I should have put them under something heavy, but they weren't completely dry when I called it a night the first time. So, I don't know, about 12:30, 1 o'clock, I got to a stopping point in what I was doing in the art studio and decided, you know what? I really need to do some prepping off camera. Because getting to this point takes a long time, but it's not very interesting. So I thought I'll go ahead and pull color cards. So I did, and the next color cards were, let me move this, blue. Okay, we'll actually do this one tomorrow, but you can see I got an entire sheet done. So we got blue, and then the next one was going to be, let me put down my blank piece of paper. And the next one was going to be red. Well, when I went to grab my red, what I found was that almost all of my papers, my favorite papers, my collage scraps, have red in them. But very few of them actually looked primarily red. Like, so few of them actually looked primarily red. And this is nowhere near enough to do a collage sheet. Now, if time were no object, I would get out my reds and I'd get out my gel plate and I would make my own papers. Let them dry, tear them up, collage with them. Life would be fabulous. If you have that kind of time, knock yourself out. But remember, I'm redoing my art studio and trying to do this in small blocks of time. That's not a small block of time, all right? For me, at least, gel printing is usually an entire day's adventure. So what I decided I'm going to do is I'm going to fake collage, all right? So I thought that's one y'all might actually want to see. So I'm going to tell you just kind of what I'm going to do, and then I am going to do it. But I'm going to do it throughout the day in small bits of time. So you're going to see a lot more editing in this video, and you may see some jump aheads. Because, like, what I mean by fake collage is I'm going to paint squares, right, of red. And then I'm going to let them completely dry. And then I'm going to paint squares of red that overlap those and completely dry. What that means is I can pop in here for 5 or 10 minutes, paint a bunch of squares, go back to doing what I'm doing while those dry, come back. I don't know about you, but when I'm organizing something, I'm going to do this while I talk, actually. When I'm organizing something, it takes me a while. Hang on. Grabbed my red bucket. And that is not red. When I'm organizing something, it sometimes takes me a while because I'll stop to think, what do I want to do next? And while I'm doing that, I can pop back here, paint a few squares, and then come back, all right? So that's kind of what I want to do today. So I've got my red bucket, all my different things, and some of it's going to be super quick and easy, like this crackling red. I can totally just stamp him down a couple of times, spritz him with water, call him good, right? Because it's the, oh wait, this is not the Distress Oxide. It says this is Distress Oxide, but this is not. This is just the regular Distress ink. Did I get it in the Distress Oxide? I thought I got them. Okay, I didn't. So I wouldn't want to use this one yet because it's water reactive. All right, so let's just start with some red paint. So red paint first. Is that got all my red paint. All right, so we'll start with the paints first. And then after I get through doing these, maybe I'll go to the inks. Let me set this just on the floor. This table is so much smaller, y'all. All right, so I'm just gonna take red paint. I'm gonna put it down. This one's not even been opened. Has this one? I don't know. Neither of these red paints have been opened. All right, this one I know has because it's one of my favorites. It's Paper Artsy Mahogany. So anyway, I'm just going to put down some paint. Literally just put down some paint. Brush it out into a square-ish shape. Notice I said square-ish. And let it dry. Go to the next one. So, I'm going to do this throughout the day today. And then I'll just edit all the different moments together. And I don't know if that square was actually on camera. So let me do another one right here. Okay. Because with this camera setup, I can't see the camera. It's actually facing the other direction. So I can't stand up and look like I could in the other room. So, yeah. All right. So, and then once I get all my squares, then I'll take stencils, pens, stamps, and I'll make each one look like an individual paper. That'll be my frosting. Now, here's the thing. Doing that, well, and I'll take like Stabilos or black pens and do shadows so they look 3D. So, yes, that can take a long time. But it, again, can be done in small bites of time. And that's really what I have right now. If you are intrigued by this, if you are not a collager, but you like the look of collage, or if you just don't have a lot of papers, but you have paints, here you go. You can fake collage. All right, so I am going to shut up and paint so that I can start fast forwarding all this. Hopefully, if it doesn't make sense now, hopefully it will be by the end. So this is day 2 of backgrounds. Our color is red, and we are doing fake collage. Okay, so here's the first layer, and actually it went way faster than I thought it would. I thought I would have to do some squares, let it dry, do some squares, but it's kind of cool today, but it's dry, and so it actually did really well. So if you didn't figure out what I was doing, was just taking one thing and just adding. If it got dark, add a light. If it got light, add a dark. If it got brown, add a red. If it got pink, add a brown. That's kind of what I was doing, all right? So, because naturally that's kind of what you do when you're doing collage. You go, oh, it's getting a little dark, let's add a light. Oh, it's getting a little light, let's add a dark. So that's basically what I was doing with my paint. So I'm going to let all this dry. If you're wondering what all I use while it's still on the desk. All right, so in the new Reeves paints that I got off Amazon that I am liking, I have 3 colors. I have Rose Madder, Brilliant Red, and Titanium White. All right. And the Paper Artsy, I had the Mahogany. All right, this one, the Deco Media, it's actually an antiquing cream. So if you may have seen when it went on, where did it go on? Here's one. It went on really thin, okay, because it's an antiquing cream. It's not actually acrylic paint. But I thought, I'm going to use it anyway, and I'll just layer it up. And I do like that it gives a whole different texture and brush stroke. Here's one, too. And here's one, all right? So, and then, of course, in inks, acrylic inks, I had my black, my white acrylic ink, and then in my India inks, I had black and red. They're both P.H. Martin's. This is Black Star Matte, and this is Bombay Red. Okay, I think, and then I just kept swapping up brushes. Just because I wanted different size brushes, different brush strokes, and if a brush started getting just super, super thick with paint, I swapped it out. So anyway, I like it. I like that I've got some really different shades. Like, I was not expecting this to look so black. Oh, but I do like it. And then when I added the white to it, I didn't expect it to kind of turn this mauve almost. It's a gray, but it's like a mauve gray. Some of these did end up looking a little brown, but they're a red brown. Some of them, though, look really red. And once again, I remember why I love my ink so much. Look at this ink sitting on top of this paint, looking just pure red. Oh, love it, love it, love it. And shiny and translucent, so you see, it's almost like if I had used tissue or vellum or something in those spots, if it had been actual collage. All right, I'm going to let this dry. Then I'll come back and I will, some of these spots where there's just emptiness, see, they need something to come back over them. But I do have real collage. So I think I have to decide if I want to frost it next or then add the collage. Oh, see, I've got actual collage to add. I think I'm going to add the actual collage only because anything I cover up's less room I have to frost, and it does take a long time. If you're unfamiliar with the term frosting, that is a Reset Girl term. Love me some Reset Girl. And she's talking about the final details, just like icing a cake to make it gorgeous. The frosting is how you take this to this. This is an unfrosted cake. This is a frosted cake. So much difference. So much difference. This is not even a complete cake yet. So yeah, I think we're going to let this all dry. Then I'll bring in my actual collage pieces. We'll add them here and there. I'll probably keep them kind of small since they will be top layer. So like these were already small. These I'll probably cut down so they're small, but maybe not square, maybe some different shapes. And add them at some of these junctures where things aren't, you know, they're not perfectly square. I mean, I wasn't trying for perfectly square. So, and then we'll let that dry, and then we'll start frosting. All right. So, that is part 1 of phase 2, day 2, faking collage. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, hey, so I am going to take water-soluble white, water-soluble black, and then I also have a black and white small paint pens. Actually, this one's gray, not black. It'll work, though. So, in case these don't work, I really want to do these because it'll be softer. And then, of course, I'm going to activate it with matte medium as per normal. And I think when I ended the other video, I told y'all that I was going to do my collage next. But after I got thinking about it, I don't want to get... hang on, I've got to put all my stuff up where I can have some room to work. I don't want to get the water-soluble pencil on my collage pieces. So I figured I need to do this first. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to get to doing so I can speed it up. And I'm going to be doing some really fast speeds on this one, I think, because it's going to be a lot. I'm pressing really hard because I want to have a lot of this on here. So, sharpen it again.
Swapping to just a stiffer brush so I can scrub this a little bit more. Yeah, I like that much better.
Okay, I'm gonna let that dry and get some more stuff done. And when I come back, I will, I'll add some white. Probably not as much white as I did the black because I still have to add the other. But yeah, I'll probably add some white. We'll see how it looks. All right, back in a bit, y'all. Okay, so I decided not to do the white because I'm gonna do a lot of pattern, and I think it'd just get lost anyway. So what I'm gonna do is I have got everything I had before, the same paints, inks, paints. All right, but I have added stuff. So I have added a ton of paint pens in complementary colors, and neutrals, basically. Basically. All right, I've got some stamp pads because I have a couple of stamps, and I have stencils. I have textured wallpaper. And you're gonna just see like me do a couple of these techniques, and then I'll show you the finished result, because I will probably be working on this off and on the rest of the evening. But I did want to show you one thing. Whether I am doodling, stamping, stenciling, whatever I am doing. Where am I going to put these? I have a tip for you on keeping your shape. All right, and if you don't already have these in your, whoop, I just pulled them everywhere, in your arsenal, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you add them, and that is obviously sticky notes. So let's say I want to work on this one right here. Oops. Make sure your sticky side down. I just take my sticky notes, set them on my black line, or as close thereto as I can get, and then let's see, let's do this. And that's kind of light, so let's go kind of dark. And I'm just going to grab a paint pen. So just take this, just like that. I hope this works because I did not shake that or anything else first. Stamp it right onto there. This is the wallpaper. Ah, there we go. And then when you pull them back up, it's only on your quote-unquote paper. So, if you have stuff like this to do, grab a package of stickies and go for it. And I do want to make these all match, so I'm just going to keep going. I will edit in and out, but just know that, like I said, I'm not going to try and have y'all see everything I do. This could be like hours upon hours. Alright, so I'm going to do a stencil on this one, so I need some paint. And I'm just going to put a little bit of white paint in here. White. You know what? I think I'm going to go red. Just some nice tone. And I don't have a, oh, yes I do. Sorry to say I didn't have a stencil brush in here, but I do. Alright, and just Punchinella, if you're wondering what it is, it's the stencil waste. If you don't have this in your arsenal as well, definitely grab some. It's usually really cheap because you can buy it on the roll. People use it for like ribbon and stuff. But also a lot of people sell it in their Etsy shops and stuff where you can just buy just a piece no bigger than this. I will tell you, I like to just go in and buy it by the roll because once they get really grungy, I use it. Oh, and I like that. It's very subtle, but I like it. Okay, moving on. Alright, so that gives us wallpaper stamping and stenciling. So, what else? We have doodles. We have doodles. So, let's grab a paint pen and let's use this white one right here. Alright, I will just doodle right here on this black one, which is here. Alright. Here, 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 and here. That one's going to be a little difficult because that's wet, so we'll leave it last. We'll start with, this one. Okay, gotta pick a doodle. So how about this? Oh. Okay, if you're wondering why I went on and did it, this is why. Because if you have a true pattern that repeats, it goes off the page, and it's easier to do that if you are actually going off the page. Because when I pick it up, what will be left is what would have been there anyway. Alright, so when I pick it up, it goes all the way to the edge and looks absolutely fabulous. So that's why. So we've done stamp. We haven't done an actual stamp, but we did the stamping with those stencils, doodling. I don't think I grabbed anything else. Okay, so I'm probably gonna just stop filming my process at this point, and what I will start doing, and just keep doing this, and then I'll show you when it's done what I actually did, and I'll tell you how long I spent. Hey guys, okay, so here's some stills when I got through filling in all the squares. Yes, I forgot to add the actual collage, so I'll do that once it's all dry. But I love it. I spent 2 hours. I doodled, I stamped, I used wallpaper, punchella, bubble wrap, if there's anything I know how to do I didn't do in there, it's just because I didn't think of it. It is a major project. Like I said, I spent 2 hours filling those in, but it was so relaxing, so much fun. I grabbed a cup of coffee, put on my headphones, and just played. Okay, so the moment of truth. I have my actual collage papers, and I have to decide about putting them on or not. And yeah, I said or not. I kind of love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of lay these around and then decide. I think this is actually harder deciding where to put them when they're the only ones. All right, I kind of like it. And I do think that I like adding them. One thing though, because these all are outlined and those aren't, I think I'm going to take my black ink pad and I think I'm going to do their edges before I put them down. All right, my camera slipped and I had to fix it. So if there's a weird cut there, that's why. All right. So if I didn't get it before, I decided that since how these are all outlined, I want to edge my pieces. But I am trying to put them back where I have them because I do kind of like the way it looks and I don't want to have to do it all again. Oh, hang on. See, this is the problem with touching them all. I'm changing my mind. Oh, where they should go. Because I'm like, this one should really go like right there. But then, where would this one go? Well, maybe right there, because that corner looks a little too round. So I like that. Okay, all right, we're back in business. Anybody not edged? Oop, this one isn't. And this one isn't. And I'm gonna move that one as well. Yeah, I did. Okay, so now, is everybody edged? I believe so. And do we like where everybody is? And I believe so. Okay. For this, I think I'm going to use my gel medium because some of these are kind of thick. And you know what? I don't think I liked using that. So let's try using a brush. Because I'm more of a brush girl. And let's see if that's what I didn't actually like before, was the fact that I was using that instead of a brush. All right. I bumped him, but I think he was right there. I'm realizing I bumped a bunch of them. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. I must have bumped the whole board. This one's kind of heavy. So let's put it on the back. That seems a little, oh well, it's fine. All right, I used, what did I use? I used my dip pen and it's ink here and here. I'm not 100% sure that is waterproof, and it is not. So rather than deal with it later, I'm just going to go in and do it now. And it's just going to be smears. Yeah. Here's the thing, if you've got something that you're not sure about, like I wasn't sure about this, don't leave it for later. And actually, I kind of like the smears. Yeah, I kind of do. All right. But yeah, don't put it off. Just go in and deal with it. Yeah. So that's what I did. All right, I'm going to rinse that out, stick this down and rinse that out, and because I don't want to move that ink on the top of this. It's the only thing I used on the whole thing that I was like, I have no idea, because it was in a dip pen set, and it was for a writing set, not art set. And I started to use my P.H. Martin, and I should have, but I thought, you know, I'll use the ink that came with it. Oh, and actually, that bled onto there, and I like it. So I'm going to intentionally try and bring it over here onto this one too, because I like that it turned that white, yeah, kind of a goldy yellow. All right, this one didn't do it as much because there just wasn't as much on my brush anymore. But yeah, I kind of liked it. So sometimes they're happy accents, and I like the little smudginess there now. All right, who isn't down? All right, I'm moving this one. All right, I think that's everybody. Let's see if anybody falls off. Ah! One did. Okay, where did he come from? I don't know where he came from. But that means we have a chance to put him wherever we want, because I don't know where he came from. All right, hang on, y'all. Oh. Okay, well, first of all, he's not stuck down good. All right. Now, let me just look at him. And I think right there is where I want him. So I don't know where he was originally going to be, but these two are almost the same size. They're stacked directly on top of each other. It looks a little boring, and especially when we tear it down, that would be boring. All right. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I will tear it apart, and I'll show you the finished pieces. So with this, and by the time I tear it down, I'm thinking that I'm going to have about 4 hours total in it. Now, there was a lot of walking away for things to dry, a lot of leaving things, leaving things be. So it would have been more if I had counted those times, but I was doing other things. In real time, I started this yesterday morning, and I worked on it off and on all day yesterday and today, and it is, what time is it? It's probably about 2 o'clock. Yeah, 1 or 2 o'clock. My watch is dead, so I can't tell you for sure, but it's at least noon. So a day and a half of actual time passed, but know that I was doing other things. I could have come back to it quicker than I did at some points, but I didn't because I was doing other things. So it's 4 hours of actual time spread out over a day and a half. Like I said, I will do pictures of them after they're dry and torn down. I will also say that this is probably my favorite one to do yet. This was so fun. This morning I just put in earbuds, I turned on some meditation music, had my coffee, and I just played for about an hour. It was a great way to start my day. Now, if I had had to work today, could I have had that time to do it? Absolutely not. But not having to go to work today, it was great. Once again, gal, I've got stills. So here is the whole sheet. Then I did each corner and then the big middle. So I just thought from that picture you can't really see up close. I had so much fun and I love this so much. And I've already taken good pictures before I put the collage on so I can reprint them and use that painty background again and again. And with that, they are cut down, and I love them so. Aren't those going to be gorgeous? I don't think they need anything else. In fact, I'm going to honestly have a hard time putting something else over that. That is so beautiful. Since I do have more than one of each background, I may just do one as my page. Isn't that just gorgeous? It's the colors. It's not any talent. There's no skill. Y'all saw me do this. It is just how beautiful the colors come through. And I hope that's coming through in the video because I am just loving it. Okay, so I will give each one its moment in the sun, but just like with the green, we ended up with 4 backgrounds. Unlike the green, these are all 4 finished. And then we ended up with short strips or small strips, which I will cut for the scrap box. And when I say my scrap box, in case you're not sure what I'm talking about, I have multiple scrap boxes over to the side of me, but I have this one that is this kind of scraps. It's just little odds and ends pieces. They're great for filling in, for making frames, borders, stamping words on. So yeah, I don't like them to be very tall because they will just come up out of this. It's a bowl. It's just a little plastic bowl. But I do keep them. And a lot of times when you hear me refer to pulling scraps out of my my bucket, this is my bucket. All right. Okay, so I've got scraps for the bucket. Then I have these 2 that I will put over in the ready-to-go papers. I just love how that ink turned out from that stamp. It was messy because I used the... Which ink did I use? I think I used the P.H. Martin on this, but I might have used the gold acrylic ink. I can't quite remember. But it was so fluid, and I just had the stamp, held with my hand. I mean, the stencil held with my hand, that it just kind of bled under the edges, but you still saw where the stencil design was. And it was an accident. It was an oops, but it's an oops that I just love. So anyway, this was that bubble wrap stamp. Doodles, that's actual scrapbook. Doodles. This was a piece of painted paper. I don't even know what it was from. It may have been from Happy Mail, actually. But this side was painted red, the other side was painted gray, and you could see the red under the gray and the gray under the red. I'm not sure what it was for, but I think somebody just sent me a paint chip from their scraps. But anyway, that's going in the do something with it because it's too fabulous not to. And then these, here, I'll put them on the white background. These are the backgrounds. Oh, isn't that just gorgeous? And again, this is just the paints doing their thing. There was no, oops, her face. There was no skill here. There was no artistry. This was just play and the colors. But there are some fabulous colors in here. The stamp from the wallpaper, I think, is one of my favorite ones. It's on this one, and oh, it got cut. This one, here, it got cut. It got cut. Wait, yeah, it has to be this one that got cut. But that doesn't match up, does it? I don't know. Anyway, I love this stamp from the wallpaper. It's just beautiful the way it came out, and it's just textured wallpaper. That's all it is. It's just a piece of wallpaper. Okay. Here's this one, which is, well, I guess I'll leave it this way, which is the last one. Now, the only thing about it is I am going to be tempted to use it this way rather than this way because of the faces. The faces will be the wrong way if I make it, you know, if I make it go like this, well then my faces are sideways. So I probably will use this page like this just because of the orientation of the faces. And that stamp, who is that? Do I still have the stamp on my desk? I do have the stamp on my desk. If you are thinking that is an absolutely gorgeous face, it is an exclusive design for All and Create. It is number 99. And it was designed by Kassa, K-A-S-S-A, Haselden, Hayselden, for All and Create. And All is spelled with 2 A's, A-A-L-L, and the ampersand symbol, Create. Okay. Is that right, ampersand? Don't you hate it when you say something and you think, is that the right word? Because I never use the real word for the and symbol. And I feel like ampersand isn't the right word. I feel like that's a different symbol. Okay, if that's the wrong symbol, y'all help me out in the comments. It's been a long day. I have gotten a lot done in my art studio. What started out is redoing my art studio has turned into redoing my art studio and my office, because one of the pieces that I didn't want in my art studio anymore, I thought, well, I could use that in my office if I took this other piece out. And once I had that in my head, I thought, well, I would like that piece of furniture more in my art studio. So, yeah, it's growing. It's growing. All right. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's the longest one of these that we have done by far. This one's going to come in at an hour. I was at 50 minutes before I taped this one. So I'm sure it's going to come in maybe over an hour. But isn't it worth it? I mean, isn't it worth it? And again, there's no talent here. This was just playing. The beauty is from the products. Pick paint colors you love, and then just stay within those colors. Just add black, white, gold. I did add, you know, the pink, the yellow, 2 different yellows, the white and the black, because I didn't want it to feel too red. When I got through painting my squares, I was a little worried that just doing all the different shadings of the 4 reds would just be too overwhelmingly red. 5 if you count the ink. I forgot. Which I still just love. Isn't that beautiful? But it isn't. It is rich and full and just makes everything else that's on it pop because it's got that deep red background. So, I hope you do it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you watched it to the end to even hear me say all this, because I do know this one's a long one. If you made it to the end, give yourself a heart. Bye, y'all. Okay, one last look of them all cut down and ready to be used.